Interesting there. Christina Albuquerque there from Leipzig, who is speaking at the International Transport Forum, bringing to a close business today. I'll be back at the top of the hour waiting for that UK inflation number. Will it be near the Bank of England's target or not? We will find out in the next 10 minutes. See you soon.
For me, trust is about presence.
About fostering relationships all around the world, over years.
We're not chasing stories, we're already there.
It's about patience.
Not rushing to be the first,
But striving to get it right.
To get to the truth.
Precision.
knowledge, facts.
Wading through endless waves of disinformation.
We can't just ask the questions.
We have to question the answers.
Debate, debate, debate.
We have to create a space for opposing voices to be heard
And challenged.
We fight every day
To earn your trust.
And we never take it for granted.
We capture the story.
Fact check the story.
We break the story.
We explore the story.
So you can trust us to tell it.
Live from London, this is BBC News. These are live pictures from Tehran, where crowds are gathering for the funeral of President Ibrahim Raisi, who died in a helicopter crash on Sunday. The head of Singapore Airlines apologises after a passenger dies following severe turbulence on a flight from London to Singapore.
We are very sorry for the traumatic experience that everyone on board SQ321 went through.
And we're expecting the latest UK inflation figures. What could it mean for interest rates in June? Hello and a warm welcome, I'm Kasia Madera. Tens of thousands of people are gathered in Tehran for the main funeral ceremony of the late President Ibrahim Raisi and 7 others who died in a helicopter crash on Sunday. Well, let's have a look at the live shot coming from Tehran, where many of those have taken to the streets. They're holding photos of Mr. Raisi. Some are carrying the Iranian flag, with Iran's ruling conservatives keen to project an image of unity and continuity. Well, the supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, will be leading prayers, and the caskets of those killed in that helicopter crash will then be taken through the streets to the city's main Azadi Square. But now, back here in the UK, we have the latest inflation figures for April. They have just been published. 2.3%. That is down from 3.2% in March. So Sally Bundock is here with us. So an expected drop, 2.3%. What does this mean?
So I'll be unpacking all of that. I've got a chief economist and others to react to all of this in Business Today here on BBC News at 7:30.
Excellent, Sally. Well, we'll definitely listen into that. But just to bring everybody up to date, so the UK inflation rates have dropped 2.3%. And as Sally said, that is much better than it previously was. Around the world and across the UK, this is BBC News. Hello, welcome. Let's take you live to Bangkok. This is where we are seeing live images of the Singapore Airlines Flight 321. It's on the ground there, and this is after that severe turbulence forced the pilot to make an emergency landing in Bangkok. This was a London to Singapore bound flight, but of course that severe turbulence meant that it had to have an emergency landing in Bangkok, and we're watching this plane, live images there. One person died, many more were injured during this flight, and many of the passengers and crew who'd been on that flight have now been able to carry on with their journeys. So that's devastation following the tornado. Now let's take you back to Iran, those live scenes. These are scenes from Tehran where people continue to mourn for President Ibrahim Raisi and also those 7 other people who died in the helicopter crash. Big crowds filling the streets for the funeral ceremony, and Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei is leading the prayers. Among those who will be attending is the Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh, who has said that he'd come to represent the Palestinian people. Now, Mr. Raisi's coffin has been draped in the national flag. He's been topped with his black turban, and as we monitor those images of following those days of funeral ceremonies for the late Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi, these days have been declared as a national holiday. It has to be stressed, though, that across social media, some people have been voicing their dissent because of the relatively recent protests against how women are treated in Iran. But we'll continue to monitor what is happening live in Iran. You are watching BBC News.
The day's most important stories sent every weekday morning direct to your inbox. Subscribe at bbc.com/newsdaily.
Now on BBC News, the latest business news from across the globe. Business Today.
On the right track, UK inflation drops to 2.3%, just a touch above the Bank of England's target. So are interest rate cuts around the corner? The clock is ticking. Mining giant BHP has until the end of the day to make a formal offer to buy its UK-based rival Anglo American. And referees with eyes in the back of their heads. We take a look at the latest tech transforming sports. Hello and welcome to Business Today. I'm Sally Bundock. We start here in the UK, where price rises have eased further. The latest consumer price index figure for April, which has just come out, shows the rate at which prices are rising has eased to 2.3%. That is slightly higher than what was expected. It still, though, remains the lowest figure since July 2021 and compares with a figure of 3.2% in March. The fall is largely thanks to a sharp drop in energy prices, and it's the first time in nearly 3 years that the inflation figure has fallen close to the Bank of England's target of 2%. And this will raise hopes that interest rate cuts are coming soon, but households and businesses may not feel any better off in the short term, as Ben King reports. Around the world and across the UK, this is BBC News. You're with Business Today. Now we're focusing on the business of sport and the technology that is playing an increasing role on the field. This is not about VAR, you'll be happy to know. We haven't got time for that debate, but it is about helping referees. So here's more from BBC Click's Shiona McCullum. Now, before I wrap up, I want to show you financial markets. In Asia, the day is pretty much at an end. And as you can see, for Hong Kong, it's flat, but elsewhere we saw declines, including the price of oil, which is a benefit to many. You can see how the yen is trading versus the dollar. If we look at the next boards, you can see those record highs for the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq as well. All eyes will be on Nvidia. Its results come out after the closing bell on Wall Street. In 10 minutes' time, the European markets will open, including the London Stock Exchange. Reaction to inflation will be seen. The pound has jumped in value this morning following that data. I'll see you soon.
Live from London, this is BBC News. These are live images from Tehran, where tens of thousands of people are gathering for the funeral of President Ibrahim Raisi, who died in a helicopter crash on Sunday. Norway says it will recognise Palestine as an independent state. Spain and Ireland are expected to make similar announcements shortly. The head of Singapore Airlines apologises after a passenger dies following severe turbulence on a flight from London to Singapore.
We are very sorry for the traumatic experience that everyone on board SQ321 went through.
UK inflation falls to its lowest level in almost 3 years at 2.3% and just above the Bank of England's 2% target. Hello and a warm welcome, I'm Kasia Madera. Tens of thousands of people are gathered in Tehran in Iran for the main funeral ceremony of the late President Ibrahim Raisi and 7 others who died in a helicopter crash on Sunday. Let's bring you some of the live scenes from Tehran where, as we've been seeing, those taking to the streets are holding photos of Mr. Raisi. They're also carrying the Iranian flag. The country's ruling Conservatives are keen to project an image of unity and of continuity, while the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei is leading the prayers today following a number of other ceremonies in different locations across the country. But now I'm going to take you live to Spain, where Spain has become the latest country. This is the leader, Sánchez Pedres, who is announcing that Spain will be recognising Palestine as a state. And it follows a couple of minutes ago, Norway's Prime Minister saying the same. Let's just listen in to Spain's leader now. OK, well, Guy Hedgecoe in Madrid, as always, thanks very much for just giving us some analysis on that. And as Guy was saying, that kind of reaction expected, but Israel's Prime Minister is warning that this move by Spain, Ireland and Norway will fuel extremism. We will continue to monitor reaction on BBC News.
Hello. The weather across Scandinavia is looking predominantly dry and